From the first moment we understand that life has an end, a question begins to form in our minds. It is a question that has been asked in every culture, in every language throughout all of human history. What happens to us when we die? This is more than just curiosity. It touches the very core of who we are. It shapes how we live, how we love, and how we face our own mortality. The thought of an absolute end, a final nothingness, can be a difficult one to accept. So we search for answers. We look to the stars, to our holy books, and deep within ourselves for a sign that this life is not the final chapter of our story. This universal question is not born from fear alone. It also comes from a place of profound hope and a deep sense of justice. We see people who live good lives and suffer, and we see others who cause pain and seem to prosper. This leads us to wonder if there is another place, another existence, where the scales are balanced, a place where kindness is rewarded and wrongs are made right. This desire for cosmic order, for a sense that life has an ultimate meaning and purpose, drives our search for what lies beyond the veil. It is a powerful motivator, pushing us to build belief systems that provide comfort and a framework for a moral life. The search for an answer has led humanity down countless paths. We have built great monuments to our dead, from the pyramids of Egypt to the humble graves in a churchyard. We tell stories of heroes who journey to the underworld and return. We create elaborate rituals to honor those who have passed on, hoping to guide them on their journey and to keep their memory alive within our communities. These traditions are a testament to our enduring belief that death is not a destination, but a transition. They show our profound conviction that the connections we make in this life are not so easily broken by the mere fact of physical death. Think about it. Every major civilization has grappled with this. The ancient Egyptians prepared their pharaohs for an eternal journey with intricate tombs and sacred texts. The Vikings believed their greatest warriors would feast forever in the halls of Valhalla. In nearly every corner of the globe, people have developed complex ideas about what awaits us. This shared human experience, this collective wonder, is one of the most powerful things that connects us all. It reminds us that despite our different cultures and beliefs, we all share the same fundamental hopes and fears about the great unknown that awaits at the end of our days. For billions of people around the world, the answers to life's biggest questions are found in faith. Many religions teach the concept of a soul. This is the part of us that is seen as immortal, the essential self that is separate from our physical body. In Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, this soul is believed to continue its existence after the body dies. Its ultimate destination depends on the life lived on earth. It is a journey to a final judgment, where one's deeds are weighed. This belief provides a powerful moral compass, guiding actions with the promise of an eternal reward or the warning of an everlasting punishment. The idea of heaven and hell is one of the most powerful concepts in these faiths. Heaven is often described as a place of eternal peace, a paradise where the soul is reunited with God and loved ones. It is the ultimate reward for a life of faith and righteousness. Hell, on the other hand, is its opposite. It is a place of suffering and separation from the divine, a consequence for a life of sin. These concepts are not just about what happens after we die. They give structure and meaning to our lives right now, offering a clear path between what is considered good and what is considered evil. But that is not the only story. In Eastern traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism, the soul's journey is not a one-time event. They believe in reincarnation, the idea that the soul is reborn into a new body after death. This cycle of death and rebirth is called samsara. The life you are born into is determined by karma, which is the sum of your actions from past lives. If you live a good life, you might be reborn into a better one. This belief encourages individuals to live with compassion and mindfulness, as every action has consequences that will follow them into their next existence. The ultimate goal is to break free from this cycle and achieve a state of final liberation, or moksha. There is another equally ancient belief. In many indigenous cultures across Africa, Asia, and the Americas, the spirits of the dead are not thought to travel to a distant heaven or hell. Instead, they remain a part of our world. They are ancestor spirits, watching over their living relatives, offering guidance, and sometimes requiring honor and appeasement. These spirits are an active part of the community. Rituals, offerings, and prayers are performed to maintain a good relationship with them. This belief reinforces the importance of family and lineage, teaching that the line between the living and the dead is thin, and that our connection to those who came before us never truly fades. Long before modern science, Philosophers were wrestling with the question of the soul and its survival. One of the oldest ideas is called dualism, most famously argued by the philosopher Plato and later René Descartes. Dualism is the belief that the mind, or the soul, is a non-physical substance that is separate from the physical body. If the mind and body are truly distinct, then it is logical to think that the mind can continue to exist even after the body has perished. This idea has been incredibly influential, forming the foundation for many religious beliefs about an immortal soul that can journey on after death. However, not all philosophers agree. Another powerful school of thought is materialism. Materialists argue that there is no separate, non-physical soul. Instead, they believe that everything, including our consciousness and our thoughts, is the product of physical processes in the brain. When the brain ceases to function, our consciousness simply ends. There is no ghost in the machine, as some have called it. For a materialist, the story of you ends with your last breath. This view can be unsettling for some, but for others, it places a profound importance on the life we have right now, as it is the only one we will ever get. Between these two extremes, other fascinating ideas have emerged. Some thinkers have proposed a form of impersonal survival. In this view, our individual consciousness, our personal I, does not survive. However, something of us might continue on in a different way. Perhaps our essence merges back into a universal consciousness, like a single drop of water returning to the ocean. Or maybe our influence lives on through our children, our work, or the memories we leave behind in others. This is not the survival of a personal soul, but the continuation of our impact on the world, a different kind of immortality. The debate continues to this day, with brilliant minds arguing for and against the possibility of an afterlife. Some philosophers have tried to make logical arguments for immortality. They might point to our innate sense of justice, our longing for perfection, or our capacity for infinite knowledge as signs that we are made for something more than this finite life. They argue that these deep-seated human desires would be meaningless in a universe where death is the absolute end. These are not scientific proofs, of course. They are arguments based on reason and human nature, inviting us to think deeply about our place in the cosmos. In recent times, the conversation about life after death has moved into a new arena, the world of science. Researchers have become fascinated by near-death experiences, or NDEs. These are the profound stories told by people who were clinically dead, perhaps on an operating table, before being revived. Despite coming from different cultures and backgrounds, their accounts often share remarkably similar features. Many report a feeling of leaving their physical body, traveling through a tunnel toward a brilliant light, and experiencing an overwhelming sense of peace and love. Some even say they met with deceased relatives or divine beings. These stories are powerful and deeply compelling. For those who have them, the experience is often life-changing, removing any fear of death and instilling a new sense of purpose. But scientists are, by their nature, skeptical. They look for physical explanations for these phenomena. For instance, the tunnel vision and the bright light could be caused by a lack of oxygen to the brain's visual cortex during a cardiac arrest. The feeling of peace and bliss could be the result of a flood of endorphins, the body's natural painkillers, being released in a moment of extreme trauma. These explanations suggest NDEs are a product of a dying brain, not a journey of a departing soul. Furthermore, scientists have explored other biological theories. Some neuroscientists suggest that the out-of-body experience could be triggered by a specific region of the brain called the temporoparietal junction. When this area is disrupted, either by trauma or by artificial stimulation in a lab, people can feel as if they are floating outside of their own body. This research provides a possible neurological basis for at least one part of the near-death experience. It attempts to ground these extraordinary accounts in the known, physical workings of our brain, offering a material explanation for what feels like a spiritual event. Ultimately, science has its limits. It can explain what might be happening inside the brain during a near-death experience, but it cannot prove or disprove what happens to consciousness after the brain stops for good. Science is a tool for measuring the physical world. Consciousness, by its very nature, is a subjective, internal experience that is difficult to measure. So where does that leave us? It leaves us where we began, with one of life's greatest mysteries. Whether you believe in an afterlife depends on your faith, your philosophy, or your own personal experiences. For now, science has no final answer. The question remains open.